is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Force. We are MC.
Royals baseball comes to you on a beautiful day in Cleveland, Ohio, where for the second weekend in a row, the Royals need a win today to avoid being swept by the first-place Indians. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And HUD, people hate to use the word must win, but if the Royals still have designs on getting back into the division, they cannot leave here 9 games out of first place.
No, they can't. But how about if I use must hit to the situation? Offensive problems, it can't be solved by one home run. Sometimes when you're facing good pitching, get them on, get them over, get them in. They know the remedy. That's small ball. That's playoff baseball there. They know it. They're going to have to get back to the basics.
And when we come back, we'll talk specifically about the Royals' troubles on offense that go back to the second inning on Thursday. ERA in the American League. The Royals have hit 185 in this series.
Yeah, you know, we're always accused of being too aggressive, but I'm going to say we weren't aggressive enough, especially in game 1. We were taking some pitches that were borderline. You know, you got to be able to hack. We all know that theory, but still, they're going to have to be aggressive in the strike zone. That's a strike. Don't let that umpire ring you out. We got to swing it and get those runs in.
Carlos Carrasco will start for the Indians today, and with Danny Duffy on the disabled list, Eric Skoglin makes the start for the Royals. Danny Duffy was placed on the disabled list yesterday with an elbow injury.
Yeah, it's too bad, but you know what? Good for Skoglin. He's a guy that can do the job if he pitches down in the zone just like that. Got to keep that ball at the knees and below to have success against this team. Cleveland Indians are really good. Hope we can see this kind of exit. That would be beautiful.
Final game of the series before the Royals head home. It's the final game of the Players Weekend. The lineups and the first pitch are coming up next. Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting, full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. The weather has been great. It is mostly cloudy, but a very comfortable 73 degrees. The Royals are needing a win today to avoid being swept by the Indians, who lead the season series 8-6, and the Royals have not scored a run yet in this series. Mike Moustakas is still not ready to play third base yet, so he's the designated hitter. Cheslor Cuthbert will get another start at third, and Drew Butera will be behind the plate, giving Salvador Perez the day off as the Royals face another strikeout pitcher, Carlos Carrasco. 167 strikeouts this year.
And the Royals, they're not afraid of Carrasco. They've had some success against him, especially on his fastball, and the rest of the league has as well. He's a solid pitcher. He's riding some momentum with the great starting pitching in the first two games of this series, being able to shut down the Royals that are ice cold right now.
Indians pitchers last night had 11 strikeouts, including 9 by the starter Mike Clevenger. Whit Merrifield takes outside, ball 1 on a fastball at 96. Whit is 1 for 8 in the series with a stolen base. It'll pop up to the right side. Jose Ramirez takes care of it, 1 away.
Defensively, 22nd start in the 17th at third base for Diaz. Fine looking player. He's got good range. He can really pick it And his last game he started, he went 4 for 4. He's a good player.
Lorenzo Cain is 0 for 8 so far in the series. He has 13 home runs this year, and 10 of those have been away from Kauffman Stadium. That is line foul into the second deck. We had sellouts the first 2 games of the series. Looks like a little less than that today. One and one.
Fastball, slider, curve, and change are his pitches. He's got about just at 50% heaters. The league likes it. So do the Royals. 344 average. He uses that pitch to set up the slider. Slider's been his devastating pitch. He's got 67 strikeouts on that pitch alone. He likes to spin the ball just like Clevenger did last night.
That's a big number, 344 against a fastball. And it's a spike from last year. Also giving up a lot of home runs with his fastball. Just 296 last season, 344 this year.
And you know, so you might say, well, why does he even throw it? Well, it's because he needs that pitch. That's his above average velocity pitch. It sets up the other ones.
Diaz over to Santana, 2 down. Our Toyota League leaders, and this is a category the Royals would prefer not to be listed on, and that is the longest consecutive scoreless innings in the major leagues this year. And the Royals, after being held scoreless in the 9th inning last night, broke a tie with the Red Sox. So 25 consecutive scoreless innings, going back to the 2nd inning on Thursday against Colorado.
Had the Royals offense, especially in game 1 against the lefty Merritt, the error to Merrifield, and then he steals second. There's nobody out. They pulled the ball, and he actually, he made a little mental mistake and went to third, got thrown out. That set the tone. But then later in that game, there was a runner at second with nobody out. They've got to be able to move the runners and get back to their small ball game while the home runs aren't happening. That's the formula in postseason when pitching is dominant like it normally is. You've got to find ways to score a run outside of hitting it over the fence. You can pitch under the bats.
1-2 on Hosmer. He has 3 hits in the series, including a double. Carlos Cookie Carrasco. That's a swing. And Carrasco's first strikeout today is 168th of the year. Eric Skoglin will make his 4th big league start when we come back. So Eric Skoglin takes his spot today. He's making his 4th big league start, one of which was against the Indians back on June the 4th. And the lineup that he will face today. The Indians have outscored the Royals 8-0 in the first 2 games of the series. They have hit 4 home runs, including 3 after Jason Hamill began last night with 5 1/3 perfect innings. The Indians hit 3 home runs over the next 2 innings and won 4-0.
Man, he had great stuff last night. Big curveball was falling out of the sky. Everything was crisp and sharp. He had no hit stuff until the bottom fell out. Misses a little in the middle. Same way for Skoglin. He's going to have success by hitting the corners. Not overpowering. Fastball is going to average 90. He throws it 64% of the time. Slider, curve, change.
One and one on Lindor. He had a big home run for the Indians on Friday night. 2-1. 23 home runs. That is 8 more than he hit last year. Two and two.
Yeah, he's got pop from both sides of the plate. Confident hitter, good level swing. He's overswung a little bit this year. That's the reason his average isn't as high as it typically is.
A little bit inside with a curveball. 3-2 with Austin Jackson on deck. Lindor is on with a leadoff walk. Number 69, Eric Skoglin.
Pouring around the horn, Royals defense. Butera, 38th start of the season. He just had 34 all last year. He's stepping up. 2-year deal. He earned it from last season, and he's working hard. His job is to control Skoglin and keep him down. Didn't work for his hitter. Now he will pitch upstairs for effect at times, and that's okay to raise the eye level. It's got to be above the belt, but doesn't have the velocity to blow it by guys in the strike zone.
That curveball's inside to Austin Jackson. Lindor has a stolen base in this series and 10 on the year. Skoglin in that memorable major league debut against the Detroit Tigers did an excellent job of getting ahead in the count. He was facing a veteran Tigers lineup who seemed to wait him out, and they were behind all night. But then in his next 2 starts against the Indians and the Padres, they were swinging early in the count. They were not allowing him, almost as if they were ambushing him early in the count.
Yeah, and that does a lot to hurt his confidence too. When he can't get ahead in the count, he can't get anything going. But he's going to have a chance here to roll up a double play. It's ahead 1 and 2. Keep the ball down, see if he can get it. Now Lindor, he's not a guy just going to go out and run. He'll run when the situation's right for him.
Six, 6'7", 210 pounds. Eric Skoglin. Jackson line drive, base hit left field. Jumped on a hanging breaking ball, and the Indians have 2 on with nobody out.
Jackson hitting .326 off the lefties. He's confident. That ball was a big breaking ball and hung up there. Whenever it's up there above the eyes out of the release point, hitters know it's going to be good enough to hit. You're going to pull that pitch. It's coming into you. A little easier to pull it than it is to go away with it at times, especially if it's on the inner half.
Jose Ramirez. He has been quiet so far offensively in the series. Down and in, ball 1.
It's an excellent stop there by Drew. That ball gets by him and goes to the backstop. That's big trouble. Second and third, no outs. That's important play. Ramirez .266 with runners in scoring position. He's a good hitter.
Fair ball over third base. Alex plays it off the side wall. Lindor scores. Ramirez has a double. He leads the major leagues in that category. That is 41, and 3 batters into the bottom of the first. The Indians lead 1-0.
Yep. He's a confident hitter. You're going to try to get a piece of cheese in the inside part of the plate. You better get it way in on him, especially early in the count. He's looking to ambush in there. A .293 hitter against southpaws. Confident. So far, Cleveland staying hot.
A walk, a single, and a double, and now Encarnacion with 2 in scoring position, and he's after the first pitch with a wicked rip. It is 0-1. He hit his 30th home run last night. He is the only active major leaguer with 6 straight 30 home run seasons. Down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes.
He's gonna look middle in. Rarely looks to go to right field, even with 2 strikes.
Almost got him to chase it. Merrifield over on the left side of the infield. He takes care of Encarnacion, but Encarnacion picks up an RBI as Jackson scores. Ramirez goes to third, and Cleveland leads 2-0.
Could see him as he got close to first base, clapping his hands. You know, he didn't really want to knock all the runs in. He did early in the count, but with 2 strikes, he's looking to just do the job. That's what you want to do. And what the Royals really offensive haven't been doing is getting the runners over and moving them. So he was happy with his out.
And the Royals bring the infield in the first inning with a runner at third and 1 out, and Carlos Santana at the plate. Gutierrez saves a run. Ball 1.
Again, Gutierrez, he's being tested early, and that's okay because Skoglin's got to find a way to get him to chase if he can. Good job. Squaring that ball up on his chest protector. High heater's got to be careful. He's getting a sac fly.
Threw it by him.
Yeah. Good spot on the outside.
Santana had one of the 3 home runs last night. Hit a line drive home run to right in the 7th inning. That was as a left-hand batter. Popped up.
That'll work.
Hosmer brings it down, 2 away.
Skoglin will take that pop up. There's an out that he worked with a little high strike. He had 3 August starts in Omaha. Wasn't bad, you know. 1.45. That's pretty good in 18 2/3 innings. 3 walks, 25 strikeouts. Opponents just hit 203. He's, you know, hadn't pitched in a while, but he's trying to get through this first inning, which can be the most difficult inning.
Brandon Guyer with Ramirez at third base. Breaking ball for a strike. Guyer gets most of his playing time against left-hand pitchers. And he was in there Friday night against Jason Vargas. He was 1 for 4.
Guyer's up on the plate. He likes to pull.
One and two.
Good spot. Outside corner's working for Skoglin today. Just keep it away. Very few changeups. 1% changeups so far in his young career.
Another thing about Guyer getting right on the plate, you got to pitch him carefully inside because he is not afraid to get hit by a pitch. Two balls, 2 strikes. You go back to the beginning of 2015. He's been hit 62 times. Only Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs has been hit more. And if you put that into perspective, 62 times in the last 3 years. The Royals record is 88 by Alex Gordon. He's done that in 11 years.
Wow. Does put it in perspective. Now you wonder why he's got that elbow pad on there.
When you get hit that often, I think you can get a doctor to prescribe an elbow pad.
Yes. Better believe it. Alex doesn't wear one.
Going to try and pitch him inside. And he hits another foul ball back into the crowd. He has seen 7 pitches in this at bat. Skoglin has thrown 26. Rivitera goes out there and has a chat about the next pitch and gives Skoglin a chance to catch his breath. The inning began with a leadoff walk to Lindor. Jackson singled. Ramirez doubled in a run, and Encarnacion got an RBI and a ground out, and then Skoglin got a big pop up from Santana. And now Guyer hits it to the left side and through. It was not hard hit, but it was well placed. He got it in between Cuthbert and Escobar. And Cleveland has 3 in the bottom of the first inning.
Just put it right where he wanted to put it. I mean, you know, you can't control the bat where it goes. The Royals just having some bad luck right now. Skoglin, you know, the changeup is an important pitch for left-handers, and when you don't have that particular pitch and you're looking this fastball, slider, breaking ball, hitters see that. The changeup is an equalizer, especially against right-handed dominated lineups.
Yandy Diaz takes outside, ball 1.
In order for Skoglin to have success at this level, that pitch is going to be a big one for him to try to incorporate.
That'll be out of play. Yandy Diaz is out of Cuba. He is playing in just his 23rd game for the Indians this year. One and two. Skoglin has thrown 30 pitches in this bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, Diaz, he's a young man that's trying to find himself as a hitter. 4 for 4 in his last game Thursday night against the Red Sox. A couple doubles, a triple. Gave him some confidence.
Geyer stops at second base. And that's something that the Indians have been raving about with young Yandy Diaz, is his ability to hit the ball to the opposite field.
Having trouble keeping it down. That's the first thing we talked about today. That's up and out of the zone. And really, pitch a lot of hitters aren't going to swing at, but Diaz, free swinger. The first two swings that he had in the at bat were compact and short and strong. And he's in swing mode, and he got it. But up in the zone is not going to work when you don't have the power to blow it by him. You're going to put that ball in play more often.
And now Bradley Zimmer. Sliders in for a strike. He had a heck of a game last night. He saved a run with one of the best catches of the year on a line drive from Lorenzo Cain, and then he broke up Jason Hamill's string of 16 consecutive batters retired. Hamill went 5 1/3 perfect when Zimmer singled with 1 out in the 6th, and then Perez followed with a home run.
It's just the way it seems baseball is. Cruising, one little hit opens up the door. Skoglin's got to get out of this. Now Zimmer, 250 hitter this year against lefties, and this is his 61st at bat against southpaws. Not bad. Anything 250 or over is good left on left.
Struck him out. The Indians' first 3 reach against Skoglin, and they all score for an early Cleveland lead.
Cleveland looking to get that offense going, and so far a 0 in the first inning. Joel Goldberg back down at Progressive Field, and talking to Ned Yost about the offensive struggles of late. he said that this really does not feel like what happened in April, and the numbers would bear that out, guys. 2.74 runs per game in April. They're at 4.38 per game in August, and if you go back through Wednesday's game before a lot of this streak happened, they were 8th in the American League in August in runs per game. So this has just been a stretch. Ned said maybe it's just a matter of facing some really good pitching. That could be debated. They've gone up against Clevenger, Merritt, and Marquez, 3 young guys in their early to mid-20s, but maybe those are pitchers that they just are struggling with for whatever reason. But bottom line is this, as we see the leadoff hit here, Ned's not going to panic. That doesn't do anyone any good. Never been in his DNA, so he is staying positive and believes maybe just one hit like that can get them going.
It's a good sign to get a leadoff double after the Indians get 3 in the bottom of the first inning. So yeah, you really can't compare the offense this month to the offense in April. The difference has been the pitching. This I found as a surprise. The Royals had the 4th best ERA in the league through the end of July. And now the 3rd worst in the month of August.
Bit of combination. But you know, right here, this situation, Moose want to definitely try to pull the ball if he can, try to move him over. And you know, Moose is a pull hitter anyway. They're playing him that way. I can get one up and give Skoglin a couple runs here.
Sounded like he broke his bat. Well, Mike Moustakas' job in the big picture is to drive in runs, and he's had a big home run season. We know that, but at the very least, getting back to your opening thoughts, the Royals need to get a run home. They need to move a runner in this inning. Our Kubota Power Stats. Mike Moustakas has gone 8 straight games without a home run. 9 is his season high. He's done that twice, and still 1 home run shy of the Royals' single season record. He has Melky Cabrera at second base with nobody out.
He's 3 for 18 in his career off of Carrasco.
One and 2. Still bothered by a sore right knee, and that happened in an at-bat late in the game on Wednesday night. He was out of the lineup on Thursday. He was out of the lineup Friday, and then back into the lineup last night as the DH, and he's the DH again today. Fastball up. That's 2 strikeouts for Carrasco.
Moose, he swings early in the count. That ball's way up out of the zone. There's no chance on that except for a foul ball. Now the opponents are hitting 344. We mentioned that off of his fastball, so he's looking for that pitch. And not the other ones. The opponents on off speed are just 145 average. Just 3 homers off of Carrasco. He's been good spinning it. Slider, curve, changeup.
Oh, 1 on Chesler Cuthbert. Chesler is getting his 4th consecutive start at third base. Fouled off of his knuckles, and it's 0-2. A strength typically of the Royals offense is turning a strikeout pitcher into a non-strikeout pitcher, and that's a key against a guy like Carrasco because he relies heavily on strikeouts. When he strikes out 7 or more, his ERA is excellent, but if you take the strikeouts away from him, or at least minimize the strikeouts, it has a drastic effect. With his ERA just under 6, he has 2 strikeouts in the first 2 innings today. Now he has 3 as he gets Cuthbert to chase a fastball at 95 up and out of the strike zone.
You can tell some of the swings, obviously, that the Royals are taking are abbreviated. That one right there was. We saw Hosmer kind of check his swing. Guys just aren't seeing the ball. I'll tell you that, but they're not picking it up. Might be guessing. They want the fastball, and Carrasco is giving it to him, but it's up out of the zone.
So Melky Cabrera with that leadoff double is still standing at second base with 2 outs for Alcides Escobar. And he gets a pop up into shallow left. Lindor wants it, and he's got it. That's a familiar sight that we take for granted. Him starting at shortstop. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. Most consecutive games started in the major leagues. Joey Votto is 140 games behind Escobar. When you start talking about consecutive games started at shortstop, not just any position, Esky's number, that takes us all the way back to Cal Ripken Jr. with his record-breaking streak, most of which was as the Orioles shortstop. So the longest consecutive game started at shortstop since 1996.
Yeah, that's impressive. And you know what? Wow,
Gomes, that's another pitch up.
Yep. Just can't live up there minus the velocity. I mean, you got to have plus velocity. But Escobar, you know, watching him today, there was a few Royals that hit. It was optional hitting out there today. And Escobar was out at shortstop with Mike Jershely taking ground balls, working on this pivot, his double plays. You know, he seems to have endless energy. He's not one of those guys, obviously, that his mind lets him tell him, oh, I'm tired, I'm not going out there. He's got a strong mental attitude. Wants to play.
Francisco Lindor set the tone in the bottom of the first inning with a leadoff walk against Skoglin, and then he, Jackson, and Ramirez ended up scoring. 0-2. Still 0-2 on Lindor. Didn't hit the spot. He is having difficulty getting the ball down. He's also not quite putting it where Butera wants it. That pitch was supposed to be inside and it missed badly outside. Again, the target is inside. And it's out over the plate. And that is blasted into left center field and gone. And a great catch by a Lindor fan in left center. And the Cleveland Indians lead 5-0 in the bottom of the second inning.
Anytime Skoglin comes in the zone, it's been hit. It's been elevated. His command's not there. Now his last start was August 15th. It's been a little while now. That ball was just barreled. That fan, I saw him get out of his seat. He measured it up perfectly and made a nice catch out there on the home run ball.
Francisco Lindor has 13 home runs in his career against the Royals, and there's a base hit down into the left field corner for Austin Jackson. He is 2 for 2. And they are working again in the Royals bullpen. The first 3 reached in the first inning, and now the first 3 have reached in the second inning.
Dave Island's going to try to talk him into getting it out here, but again, let's look at the location. That's elevated up in the zone at 80, little breaking ball. You see the yellow streamer that comes across there and tracks the ball for you. You can tell that's where the hitter's looking for that release point. And when it's up out of his hand and it stays up like that, and it has some spin on it, it's going to be a hittable pitch.
Onelki Garcia, who was called up when Danny Duffy was placed on the disabled list. He was warming up in the first inning, just starting to warm up when Skoglin got the final out, and now he is throwing with nobody out in the second inning. Jose Ramirez takes low for ball 1. Oftentimes, when a reliever is warming up in the bullpen and has been warming up in the bullpen, and the pitching coach is on the phone again, oftentimes the message is he's coming in really soon, as in like maybe the next batter. And Ramirez hits a pop-up to the right side, and Merrifield brings it down, so Skoglin will get another hitter so long as he's getting outs, and that's the first out of the second. Ned Yost knows that Garcia is ready to go, and Skoglin is skating on the thinnest of ice. Encarnacion grounded out in the first inning and drove in a run, his 76th of the year.
Hard for him to have much command on the inner half of the plate, the way they've been hitting. So that last pitch there is where he wants to try to stay away.
Outside, 1-1. Two balls and 1 strike on Edwin Encarnacion. Jackson is at second base. He doubled. Francisco Lindor has hit a 2-run home run in this inning. The Indians got 3 in the first inning. 3-1. Skoglin has thrown 52 pitches in an inning and a third. And number 53 is ball 4. And Ned Yost is out of the Royals dugout. So Skoglin's day began with a walk. It ends with a walk. And in between, the Indians have 5 runs on 7 hits. And Skoglin departs with 2 on and 1 out. Nelky Garcia will make his Royals debut. Third. The Indians got 3 in the first inning. They have added 2 more in the second. And now 2 on with 1 out. Our University of Kansas Health System injury report update. Danny Duffy placed on the disabled list yesterday with a strain in his left elbow. Chatting with General Manager Dayton Moore, as we do on radio every week. The news so far is good for Danny Duffy. Nothing serious. He is eligible for reinstatement on the 5th, and they're hopeful that he will be available at that date. In the meantime, Onelki Garcia, Chevy called to the bullpen. He was with the Royals in spring training. This is not his major league debut. It's been a while, but he pitched 3 games with his original organization, the Dodgers, back in 2013.
Yeah, big, strong lefty, 6'3", 220, power fastball, about 93 to 96 with a little run and sink, a power curveball. Occasional changeups. It's going to come right after the hitters. That's what you do here when you're down. Throw strikes.
Carlos Santana fouled out to first in the first inning. Drilled left field corner, hooking, and it hit the pole for a 3-run home run. It is 8-0 Cleveland with 1 out in the bottom of the second.
Onelki Garcia tried to get the ball in like Skoglin against the hot Cleveland Indians offense, and same result. Looked like it was a breaker, little breaking ball. 82, just sent right over the middle of the plate. hot team like this, you cannot miss in. This game can be over quickly. A little surprised he went with the breaking ball second pitch there. 2 first pitch strike, hard heater. Stay heaters until they can, you know, establish that pitch first. Let the hitter see what they're doing against it. Then if they do hit that, then you can go to your secondary pitches. That was a cookie right in the middle.
1-2 on Geyer. He drove in one of the 3 runs in the first inning. Carlos Santana, just like Francisco Lindor, he has more home runs and more RBIs in his career against the Royals than any other team. Geyer hit one basically off the ground, and Witt throws it by Hosmer, and it's into the camera well, and Geyer will be at second base with 1 out. Geyer hit that ball right off the ground and somehow made contact. He will get a base hit, and then he goes to second on the throwing error by Witt.
Pounded into the ground, had a good takeoff out of the box. Whitley just pulled Haas off. Whitley's 8 there.
Here is Yandy Diaz. He had a single to right field in the first inning. Cuban versus Cuban. When was the last time a little guy came over from Cuba?
I haven't seen him.
One ball and 1 strike for Garcia. He defected in 2010 to Mexico and ended up in Nicaragua, back in Mexico, and eventually in Texas. He was drafted. He became draft eligible. Most players, when they defect from Cuba, will land in a foreign country, usually in Latin America, and become an undrafted free agent. They can negotiate, you know, whatever terms they want. But Garcia was actually drafted by the Dodgers in the 3rd round.
You know, you can understand big, strong guy like him, and the scouts over here, they drool over the size of athletes, and you know, they get to fulfill their dream by getting over here if you can defect, but you're also saying goodbye to your family. I don't know. I don't understand how these guys can do it. It's awfully tough. You only have a certain amount of time in your life to be a professional athlete. Man, you're just saying goodbye to your family. You don't know when you'll see them again.
And most of the time, you don't have a chance to say goodbye to your family. I mean,
yeah,
you have to leave in the middle of the night without warning.
You get arrested.
Sometimes it's more of a sorry that I left by way of mail or text message or phone call, instead of I'm leaving tonight or I'm leaving tomorrow morning or whenever.
Yeah, some of the stories we read about these guys is just, to me, is heartbreaking.
Boy, that was close. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Chris Guccione is the home plate umpire. Walk. So Garcia is allowed a home run, an infield single, and a walk. There is still only 1 out, and now the 9th hitter comes up in the inning, Bradley Zimmer. Royals are home tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday against Tampa Bay. Wednesday is our next student night. You can purchase tickets for only $10 with your student ID, plus enjoy a happy hour special at the Boulevard Rattler Station concession stand as you listen to live local music on the Outfield Experience stage before the game. Royals.com/student night. Over the mound, over second base, no play. Merrifield, by getting a glove on it, kept Geyer from scoring. Zimmer has an infield base hit, and the bases are loaded with one out.
Whitley got to the ball, trying to take it out and shovel it any way he can to get to Escobar, and he lost the handle. They don't have very much time there. A big two-hopper like that, no way you're going to get him at first base. He runs too well.
Yan Gomes started all this with a single to left field. That was against Skoglin. Skoglin is charged with 7 of the 8 runs. And Carlos Carrasco just sits and waits in the Indians dugout as they're piling up the runs. He will have at least an 8-0 lead when he takes the mound. And now you can add 4. That is a 9-run bottom of the 2nd inning.
Wow, you know what? He was waiting for it. Every single Cleveland Indian hitter is waiting for a pitch to hit, and they are not missing it. It's like batting practice is broken out here. Game time. I don't know if I've ever seen 9 runs in winning. It's been a long time. Every guy scoring.
The only Indian who has not scored in this inning is Jose Ramirez, and he scored last inning. 12 runs, 11 hits in fewer than 2 full innings. Lindor had the first big hit in this inning with a 2-run home run to left center field.
That's right. Ramirez made the out.
That's back into the crowd. 1-2 on Lindor. Both of the Indians catchers have really scuffled at the plate this year. That'll be out of play, and now both Indians catchers have had some big hits in this series. It was Roberto Perez, the backup catcher, who hit the 2-run home run in the 6th inning against Jason Hamill last night, and now Yan Gomes has a single, a run scored, and a grand slam in the same inning. Off of Garcia's glove, another backhand chance for Witt. And that is thrown away, but no further advance. That'll be a base hit for Lindor. And Whit Merrifield 3 times in this inning has been tested with that play. A bouncer up the middle, trying to make a play on a backhand, and it's a tough spot for Dave Island to be in. I mean, you go out there and here's a guy who's making his Royals debut. He hasn't pitched in the big leagues since 2013, and he hasn't gotten an out yet. He's given up a 3-run home run, 3 infield singles, a walk, and a grand slam.
Ooh. Well, Dave Island and Ned Yost, they always talk about before games, you know, what happens, what do we do in the case of this situation, or what happens, what are we going to do in case of this one. But I think this is the nightmare of all nightmares for him here. How are we going to get through this game and not deplete our bullpen for the next series coming up at home?
Austin Jackson singled and scored in the 1st inning. He has doubled and scored in this inning. He is the 12th man to come up. 2-0. And the Royals have a chance to turn 2, and they will. The Indians hit 3 home runs, and they score 9 in the bottom of the second inning. Beyond center field near Progressive Field, honoring the all-time Cleveland Indians. When we were here earlier this year, they were unveiling a statue for Frank Robinson, who became the first black manager in the major leagues. He was a player manager for the Cleveland Indians, so he was here. Hank Aaron was here. Yan Gomes gets down into a crouch and now works with Carlos Carrasco after hitting a grand slam in the Indians' 9-run bottom of the second inning. So Carrasco pitches with a huge lead, and it'll be Alex Gordon, Drew Butera, and Whit Merrifield. One ball and one strike. One and two on Alex. He had a 3-hit game on Friday and was held hitless last night. All 3 of his hits went to the opposite field on Friday night.
Yeah, it's nice to see. You know, in situations like this, when it's a blowout early, you're going to try to do the best way you can to get on base any way you can. So you're not going to give away any at bats. It's unheard of. Major leaguers, they do not give at bats away, so they'll be out there competing. Alex was trying to go to left field there. He missed.
Carrasco has struck out 4. And now Drew Butera with 1 out. Chops the first pitch out to Diaz, 2 down.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Whit popped out to second in the first inning. He was tested defensively in that Indians bottom of the second inning. Not what those Royals fans had in mind when they planned a weekend getaway to Progressive Field. The Indians so far have outscored the Royals 20-0 in this series, and we're only in the third inning. And Carrasco will not get a 1-2-3 inning as Merrifield, running hard up the line, gets an infield single, and that's the Royals' second hit.
That's right. He earned that one. Lindor, he tried to get around the ball a little bit easier instead of just going right to it, and that allowed Whitley to get in there. Look at that. Good speed, hustling hard. He earned it. Watch Lindor. He's trying to circle around it instead of just going right to it and firing off balance. A guy like Whitley is going to beat that out.
Lorenzo Cain grounded out to third in the first inning. It seems completely insignificant now, but Cleveland got 3 in the first inning. And then the Royals got a leadoff double in the second by Melky Cabrera, and were not able to get him home. And that's something we discussed at the beginning of the broadcast, is the Royals not swinging the bats well right now. So you get back into it by some situational hitting, move some runners, just get a run on the board, get that scoreless streak out of the way. And it happens so many times. One team gets a big scoring opportunity, they don't cash in. The next half inning, the other team does score. Now, we didn't know they were going to score 9 in the bottom of the second inning.
But you're right. They've got to. That's the thing they got to work on now. Just breaking the scoreless streak. Carrasco, obviously 12-run lead. He's not worried about getting hurt with any particular pitch. He's just going to go out there and do the best he can to try to stay ahead of hitters. And Yan Gomes is guiding him there.
One and two. .97 miles an hour unloaded by Carrasco. Two balls, two strikes. Fastball struck him out again. 97. And Carrasco has 3 scoreless innings and 5 strikeouts. Bottom of the third inning. It's the sweet life with Salvi. You can enter to win at Royals.com/Salvi for a private meet and greet with Salvador Perez. You'll attend batting practice and then get an exclusive VIP suite experience at the game on September 28th. Compliments of Price Chopper. That's Royals.com/Salvi. That seems so far away because you're talking about the end of the regular season when you say September 28th. That is a month from tomorrow as August is coming to an end. Jose Ramirez doubled, drove in a run and scored in the first inning. Cleveland scored 3 in the first. They scored 9 in the second inning, and Ramirez was the only Indian who did not score a run in the second inning. 7 runs have been charged to Eric Skoglin. The other 5 to Onelki Garcia, who gets a pop up to Escobar. 1 away.
You could see a shot of the disappointed Skoglin right there, and I mean, you can't blame him. Just wasn't expecting this. He thought his command was going to be a lot better, but you can see he just didn't have good command at all. Everything was up, and in this game, if you leave the ball up, it's going to get hit. And sometimes you hit it at people, and you have some fortune, and you get out of the inning. But this day, it didn't happen, and so he's going to have to wear this one and move forward and try to do the best he can and keep improving, keep his head up. And I like the fact that he's right there on the top step, rooting his teammates on. That's what you can do when you get it handed to you like that.
Nobody would blame him if he was in the training room right now with his shoulder and elbow wrapped in ice, just wanting to forget about what happened today. But there he is, hanging over the railing.
He's wearing it. That's what you do. You stay there. Disappointment, but you're there supporting your teammates. That speaks a lot for yourself.
Hosmer with a backhand swipe, and Encarnacion is out number 2. I had the same conversation with Ned Yost about Eric Skoglin before the game today. You come up to the big leagues and you struggle for a while, and you go back to the minor leagues and you say, okay, what do I need to do to get better? Jake Junis, for instance, come back up, he's a little bit better. He gets set back down, back up, a little bit better. Well, for Skoglin, it was the other way around. I mean, he had a historically good start to his big league career. You're talking about one of 18 pitchers in the history of the game with what he accomplished in his big league debut. 6 or more innings, no runs, 2 hits or fewer, 5 or more strikeouts. Only 18 pitchers in history have done that. He outpitched Justin Verlander. It was a 1-0 game. He got a standing ovation. He had the best rookie cap tip in the history of the game.
I've never seen one better.
So, not to say you let your guard down there and you think, well, this is easy, but I mean, where do you go from there when you have a big league debut like that? And then suddenly, in your next 3 starts, what you thought you were doing right in your first start is not working anymore.
Yeah, the game's very difficult. It's about being able to repeat and do the best you can to stay consistent. But you're right in a sense, he was so good. It's going to be tough to repeat that. But in that start against the Tigers, he was on with everything. Everything was down. He hit the spots. He was hitting his corners. He was new. He had a good tempo. So there was a lot of positives in that outing. And then the next time he went out, the last few times we've seen him, everything has been just up and hittable. And nothing very attractive to be able to get hitters out. And when you throw a curve or a changeup just 1% of the time, and you're a left-hander that's velocities averages 90, you don't have enough weapons. So maybe he could somehow find a way to get a changeup working. Might help him in the future. That's just my opinion. Not a pitching coach, but I hit lefties, and they need them. You got to have a changeup.
So how did that affect your at-bats when you went to the plate and you realize you're facing a lefty who, well, if you're saying 1%, you can say he never throws his changeup, basically.
Right. So I'm up there. I'm looking. I'm very confident because I know he doesn't have anything that can blow by me. So I'm looking up in the zone. I'm looking to pull it. That's exactly what they did.
Because if he's got a changeup, you can't necessarily look to pull him because now you're going to be in trouble.
Right. He'll get you off balance. You'll be out front. You'll roll over a lot like our hitters did against Merritt in game 1.
2-2 on Geyer.
You know, I don't know if winter ball could be an option for Skoglin or anything like that, because I don't know the history of his arm and what he's gone through this year. But you know, at some point, in order for him to continue to try to be a big league pitcher, he's going to have to, you know, find a way to face hitters, and that's the only way you're going to test it. You can work on it on flat ground. You can play catch and work. That's the start of it. But then once you get out there in the bullpen, there's not a hitter out there. You can work on there, but you got to face hitters to see what the timing's doing against him.
Three and 2 on Geyer, and we don't know how much more he's going to pitch this year, but he may be just forced to throw that pitch.
Yeah,
just
throw it.
The difference between throwing it out in the bullpen and throwing it in the game, the best way to get confidence of throwing it in the game is to throw it in the game. And now Geyer walks. It reminds me, and we're talking about completely different pitchers here, but last year's Rookie of the Year, Michael Fulmer with the Tigers, was essentially a 2-pitch pitcher, and the Mets believed that maybe he was going to be a reliever because he's just a 2-pitch pitcher. Right. Well, he goes to the Tigers in a trade. Tigers felt like he could develop his change, but it was his catcher, James McCann, the first 2 months of the season, who just kept putting changeup down, kept putting it down, putting it down. You're going to have to throw this pitch. If you want to be good, you have to throw it. And then it clicked. It clicked in May, and he ended up being the Rookie of the Year. Now, again, there's a bit of apples and oranges comparison there, but that's a perfect example of how do you improve a pitch at the major league level. You just got to throw it.
There's no question, but you're right when you're comparing apples and oranges. He throws 94 to 98. You know, so he has fuzz that he can get away with.
But look at the point you're making. Here's a guy who throws 95 to 98, and he still needed a changeup.
Yep, he did. He couldn't survive that on just 2 pitches alone. Being a starter, facing going 3 times through the lineup. The more weapons, the better. You know, you hear us all the time talk about the pitcher's breakdown. Carrasco, he's got 4. He's got 4 pitches.
And what's his lowest percentage?
16% on his curve and change, equally identical. But he's showing them, he's using them. That's in the back of the hitter's mind. When you have more weapons and more chance to keep them off balance, keep them off the bases.
Shallow center. Kane makes a play. So Garcia works around the pair of 2-out walks, and the Indians are scoreless for the first time today. is brought to you by Ford, going further so you can. It is 12-0 Cleveland, a 9-run second inning. 3 in the first, 9 in the second. They had 3 home runs in that inning alone. And now Eric Hosmer goes the other way and drops it in front of Austin Jackson. Hosmer is on for the first time. He is 1 for 2.
Thank you, Austin Jackson. Circle the wagons. That ball right there could have been caught, but he kind of backed off and kind of played around it just to let it fall in there. But thank you.
Ball 1-2. Melky Cabrera. He doubled in the second inning. Phillips 66 shows us what's in the tank. Edwin Encarnacion and Eric Hosmer have both reached today, so they have extended their streaks of reaching base to 21, longest in the major leagues, as Carrasco goes down to second, and the Indians turn a double play. 2 down, nobody on. Joey Votto had led the major leagues. He had reached in 28 consecutive games, but did not reach last night. So now the longest streak belongs to Hosmer and Encarnacion.
Popo, that baby.
Two outs to Mike Moustakas. And Carrasco is having no trouble pitching with a huge lead. He has not lost any aggressiveness. Throwing strikes, using his defense. And now he gets a ground ball to Lindor, who's over on the right side of second base. And Carrasco faces only 3 in the 4th inning.
Numbers, and it's not for the Royals, that's for sure. But look, hey, we're going to game break up to New York. You know, Seattle's having a hard time. Yeah, this is the first inning. You know, the Mariners having a hard time holding on to the baseball, kicking it around. Not able to catch it. Not able to throw it. Ball's getting by. 5 errors in the top of the first inning. Ouch. Happens even at this level. So when somebody tells you, Ryan, that's baseball, how do you digest that? That's just baseball.
There's So many games, so many different things can happen. I think more things happen in baseball that are out of a player's control than any other sport. Kane got turned around. He doesn't quite pay back Zimmer for the catch that Zimmer made on him last night, but a good play nonetheless.
Hold on just a second. Let me compliment Lorenzo on that beautiful play. That was beautiful. He got turned around, but he turned the right way. That ball was directly over his head. That's the toughest ball for a center fielder to catch, and he was perfect. All right.
And now Gomes, he singled and scored and hit a grand slam in the 9-run second inning. You agree? More things out of your control happen in baseball than in the other sports.
What about last night? Well, you and C.J. Nitkowski were giving us a breather. I was watching the game, and I couldn't believe Hamill, how crisp and how great his stuff was. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen him pitch like this before. His tempo was great. He was executing. It's a hot offense, obviously, the Indians. And the one hit by Zimmer up the middle. And I'm thinking, oh, well, no big deal. Homer. Next thing you know, and I'm telling myself, sitting by myself, oh, that's baseball. Don't you know it? No, guy's cruising along. He's perfect. And all of a sudden, the floodgates open. Maybe I shouldn't use that word right now. Floodgates. But anyway, it's hard to figure out. But Hamill, man, I didn't get a chance to see him today, but on the team playing, I'm going to tell him how great he was. And then until that point in the game.
Two outs to Lindor, who has not been retired yet. He is batting for the 4th time in 4 innings. He walked and scored in the first. He hit a 2-run home run and had a single in the second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very high into the left field corner. Alex looking into the sun makes the play right on the line. It's ruled a foul ball catch. And the Indians are down 1-2-3 for the first time today. Second inning. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run, and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running Learn more about how you can get involved this fall and visit foxsportssupports.com. It'll be Cuthbert, Escobar, and Gordon. The Royals have now gone 29 consecutive innings without scoring a run. They have had base runners in 3 of their first 4 innings today, including a leadoff double in the second inning. Cuthbert almost nailed by the pitch, and it's 2-0.
I mean, you know, it's not to the point yet where the small talk before games that you get with players, you know, it's not to the point where you're saying, well, so what are you going to do in the offseason? It's just not quite there yet. It's, you know, there's too much of baseball left. But I did talk to Chesler about his offseason. I wanted to know what his plans were, and he said, I'm going to winter ball, I'm playing winter ball. I said, really? I was a little bit shocked by that, because typically if you have about 3 years, 2 years, 3 years in, you don't usually go there anymore. But he said, I gotta play. You know, I gotta get better. He's just got 115 at bats coming into today, and you know he'd like to get another 100, another 150. Keep him sharp. It's a good idea. .43rd game for him.
One hop out to Ramirez. Santana, a little difficulty finding the bag, but he gets the first out.
Ramirez is telling Santana, hey, I got that ball. Stay away from it. Get over to the base. Cover it up. He's there talking. He's saying, look, that's not your ball. Santana, you know, 1-2 hopper. I can hear Ramirez yelling, I got it, I got it. Ramirez been playing all over. Not a lot of second base because Kipnis has been there, and he's got a injury to his hamstring. So communication's important.
Ball one on Alcides Escobar. He popped out to short in the second inning. One and one. Carrasco's been up there 95, 96, even 97 with his fastball today. And pitch efficient with fewer than 50 pitches into the 5th inning. Kicked by Diaz, who is not the best defender, but he recovers. 2 down. Alex Gordon struck out in the 3rd inning. He is 0 for 1 against Carrasco. Pulled foul. It's 1-1. You know, you might think this is just going through the motions for Carrasco, pitching with a huge lead. But he has struggled quite a bit in the second half, so I'll bet in his mind this is not just going through the motions. But so far so good. With a huge lead, he has pitched 5 scoreless innings and only allowed 3 hits. It's been a great weather weekend in Cleveland, but on the field a struggle for the Royals. The 5th inning. This is Onelki Garcia making his Royals debut today. On in relief of Eric Skoglin. Skoglin went an inning and a third. He is charged with 7 of the runs. Garcia is charged with 5 of the runs. He pitched a scoreless 3rd and 4th, and he'll get Jackson Ramirez and Encarnacion in the 5th. Back to Garcia. He flips it over to Hosmer, and there's 1 down, and Jackson is 2 for 4. Garcia got to the big leagues in 2013 with the Dodgers. Then he had some elbow problems. He had surgery on his left elbow that offseason. And then the next spring he had surgery on his left knee. So that set him back, and he did not get to the big leagues again until pitching today. Two and 1 against Jose Ramirez. He drove in a run with a double, his major league leading 41st double in the 1st inning, and scored a run. And now base it into left field with 1 out.
Right in the middle, good level swing. What impresses me about Ramirez, amongst many things, is how level his swing is from both sides of the plate. The bat head stays in the zone a long time. No wonder he's been a big success for them.
Eric Gonzalez will run for him with 1 out.
Amazing how some players, when they arrive on the scene, you look at them, you measure up and down, you're wondering, you know, can this guy survive? Can he make it? And a few years ago, when Ramirez got in the league, playing here and then playing at the K, I didn't think that. I thought maybe a utility player at best, but I didn't believe he'd be the impact player he is. He's worked hard. He's been very productive. His versatility is a plus for him. And any players. Ooh, hot shot.
And Cuthbert turns it into a double play. 12-0 Indians at the end of 5. Francona is starting to pull some of his regulars out of the game. Still time to sign up the little ones for the Blue Crew. For just $30, your little Royals fan will receive a youth jersey, a flat bill cap, 2 ticket vouchers, a free stadium tour, and much more. And you can join right now by visiting Royals.com/Blue Crew. A Packers Indians fan taking in today's game. There's Eric Gonzalez. He remains in the game at second base. He just ran for Jose Ramirez. And Giovanni Urshela takes over at short for Francisco Lindor. One and one on Drew Butera. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Vicky Kelly from Independence. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Vicky wins $1,100. A grand slam out of the park is worth $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Santana, and it's back into the crowd. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I recall a Sonic Slam right here in this ballpark. I believe Matt Stairs had a Sonic Slam here in Cleveland.
Huh. To hit a slam would be nice anytime, but to bring a money winner like that, wow, that's something you just, that's like a little gravy on top.
The Royals just need a run. They've gotten 30 consecutive innings now without scoring a run.
Yikes. Yeah, you know, it's just amazing how they when they go under, they get a little hitting virus. I mean, everyone catches it. They beat good pitching before. It's not an excuse.
Tied for the second longest in Royals history. That is strikeout number 6 for Carlos Carrasco.
Pull the string. Got him out right down the middle.
Interesting looking at list at the longest consecutive scoreless innings in Royals history. One of them was 1985.
World Championship year.
2004 was one of the more disappointing seasons in Royals history. And if I remember correctly, that included a game in San Diego and 3 consecutive shutouts in Minnesota. July of 2004, and Dave Holtzman confirms that it started in San Diego and continued into Minnesota. There was a rather humorous moment. I just talked about Matt Stairs hitting a sonic slam here. Matt Stairs was on that 04 team, and that series in San Diego, it's funny now, it wasn't funny then, but there was a play in San Diego that just summed up that Royals 2004 season. Witt's down on strikes and 2 away. Ken Harvey was at first base. Matt Stairs was in right field, and there was a base hit to right, and Matt Stairs came up throwing, and Ken Harvey decided that that ball was going to go all the way through. So he turned his back to right field and got down on a crouch, expecting the ball to sail over his head and go to home plate. And Matt Stairs hit him right between the numbers.
You mean he was
giving new meaning to hitting the cutoff man?
So Harvey wasn't looking at the play?
It was a big point in the game, so there was really no reason to cut off the throw. I mean, Matt Stairs, who had a strong arm, he needed to get all the way to the plate, so Harvey kind of stood there as a cutoff man. Stairs picked it up. You could tell by his body language that Matt Stairs was going to throw it as hard and as far as he could throw it.
Right.
So Ken Harvey just turned his back and wanted to see what was going to happen at the plate. So he turned to face home plate, got down in a crouch like a catcher, and then, like he was shot with a deer rifle,
How did you
down he went.
How did you call that? Was there? Did you laugh?
Well, like I said, it wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah, no.
Lorenzo Cain with the count 0-2, singles to left field.
That's one of the more comical plays in Royals history.
Yeah, it was. It was embarrassing at the time. And I think it was Matt Stairs, actually. Bonifacio is going to run for Cain, and now Moss is going to bat for Hosmer. But Matt Stairs, who is just a delight to be around, had some funny lines in a frustrating season. I think it was a getaway day, and we were all going to the bus, and Stairs kind of said under his breath before he got on the bus, "Well, they say you're supposed to hit the cutoff man." So that released some of the tension. But anyway, that ties into that scoreless streak back in 2004. Brandon Moss takes inside. Eric Hosmer finishes the day 1 for 2. One ball and 1 strike.
Games like this, and you're an extra player before the game starts, you're hoping it's going to be a good competitive ball game, but then when it gets a little bit out of hand like this, you're on the edge of your seat. You know you might get that call, and players want to play. It's not like you're going, oh no, I got to go in there. If you have that mindset, you're in trouble up here. You know, if you continue to look on the other side, which is a job in real life out of the game, that's what stirs you today as a big league player. You get stirred by the fact that you're not going to be here much longer. Let's go out and give 100% of what I have today, no matter what the score is, what the circumstances is. I'm in the show. He's the Moss dog. He's Moss has a good attitude. He understands.
And a 12-run home run would tie it.
That would be awesome, and he could do it. Not here.
8 strikeouts for Carrasco in his 6 scoreless innings. The first 2 innings, they scored 3 in the first and 9 in the second. Here's our sprint trivia question. Name the 4 major league players with 13 or more home runs and 20 or more stolen bases this season. There's one of them. And he has a teammate that's also on that list. On Carlos Santana. It is not Brandon Moss.
Nope. Did they
but
take
he
him?
takes over at first base.
Did they take Locaine out? Is he the answer? They took him out. All right.
Facio ran for him.
Okay.
Escobar throws out Santana. He has one of the 3 home runs for the Indians today. So Bonifacio is in right. Melky Cabrera was in right. He goes to left, and Alex Gordon shifts into center field. And there's Melky in left. Dyer fouls it off of his foot. So Kane and Merrifield, 2 of the 4 big league players with 13 or more home runs and 20 or more stolen bases. Mike Trout. Incorrect. Mike Trout does not have the 20 stolen bases portion of it. He does have more than 25 home runs. Escobar backhands, throws back to first. Not in time. Almost had a collision over there first. I think Moss was trying to decide which foot he wanted to stretch with to help out Escobar's throw, and Geyer gets an infield single. He's on with 1 out.
Esky, nice play here to get on top of the ball with his arm angle as best he can to get it over there. And if you're a right-handed fielding first baseman, you want to stretch with the right leg, and he did that.
Diaz takes outside, ball 1. You're cheating.
I can't look at steals I want to see who got some steals and who got some pop.
Well,
so I didn't know.
It's not fair.
I can't look in the stat pack.
Well, no, that's where the answers are.
Not always. Oh well, I didn't see it. We'll guess. Oh, it is helpful. Hello.
All right, well, let's go.
Merrifield and Kane.
Long since established.
Yeah. How about,
as he's looking at the stat page, by the way.
Altuve?
Wow, great guess. That's the 4th walk allowed by Garcia. Diaz is on for a 3rd time. 2 on, 1 out. How about Altuve? So that's 3 of 4. Down and away, ball 1. Marcell Ozuna. Incorrect. Witt. They get the out at second, and then Escobar on a heads-up play, assuming that Geyer was going to round 3rd. He did, but not far enough for Cuthbert to get an out. So Diaz is retired at second base, and now 1st and 3rd with 2 down.
Escobar, he knows he can't double up Zimmer. Zimmer's too quick. So lots of times shortstops will take the peak first before they throw. And he thought he might have a shot.
Andrew McCutchen. Corey Seager. Both incorrect. Yan Gomes in the Indians' huge 9-run 2nd inning led off with a single. He scored on Lindor's home run, and then later in the same inning hit a grand slam. And that grand slam was against Onelki Garcia. The Indians in that 9-run inning got a 3-run home run from Carlos Santana, a 2-run home run from Francisco Lindor, and then the Gomes grand slam. And that grand slam was our Jeep drive of the game.
Nice and easy. Look, you see how he had a little rock back, a little action going back to go forward. Put it on to that 9th
homer. Strike 3 called. Another scoreless inning for Garcia. It is still 12-0 Cleveland at the end of 6.
Top 12 zip. Little game break action. Let's take you north of the border. Kenny's Vargas of the Twins drops in a little 2-run single. And they're up 5-2. The Twins are.
Carlos Carrasco with an enormous lead has also pitched 6 scoreless innings, and he has struck out 8. Melky Cabrera takes a strike. Carlos Carrasco has many memories of pitching against the Royals. He got his first big league win at Kauffman Stadium in 2010. He pitched a 1-hit shutout at Kauffman Stadium in 2015. There's a base hit into center field. Melky has his second hit. Melky, we just had the Sonic Slam inning last inning. Melky has 3 grand slams in his career, and when he was with the Royals in 2011, he had a grand slam right here against Carlos Carrasco. He watched it too long, and then Billy Butler came up next, and Carrasco whistled one over Billy's helmet.
Ooh, man, that was too close.
Which was the beginning of a very interesting series of suspensions for Carlos Carrasco. There's ball 1 to Mike Moustakas. He was suspended 6 games for throwing at Billy Butler. But the Indians wanted him to pitch, so they optioned him to AAA. 2-0 on Moustakas. And while he was at AAA, he got hurt and ended up having Tommy John surgery.
Wow. And
did not get back to the big leagues until 2013. Two and one on Moustakas. So when he got called back up in 2013, he had to serve his suspension. He had never served his 6-game suspension from throwing over Billy Butler's head. So 2 years later, back in the big leagues, he serves his suspension, and in his first game back, he whistled one over Kevin Youkilis's head and got suspended another 8 games.
I heard this.
Right center field, and Geyer comes over from right to take care of Moustakas. He's 0 for 3, and there's 1 down. So one thing that Carlos Carrasco had to overcome to become the pitcher that he is today is to control his emotions, and all he accomplished there was get suspended for a couple of weeks by letting his emotions get the best of him. And not to mention, I mean, throwing over 2 hitters' heads.
Yeah, that's not good.
Cuthbert singles into right field. Cabrera stops at second. Chesler is 1 for 3, and the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
Chesler will take that. Good controlled swing. Now, let's see if Eske can put his .301 average with a runner in scoring position to work here. Break that streak.
31 consecutive scoreless innings. It is the second longest streak in Royals history. The longest is 34 consecutive innings in 2004. Oh, and 1 on Escobar. Take that back. 32 is the record in 2004. 32 innings over the course of 4 games back in 2004. 0-2 on Escobar. He has popped to short and grounded sharply to third. One and two. On the ground to Urshela, out at second. No double play. Cabrera's at third base with 2 down. Escobar's at first. If you can't catch the Royals on TV, you can stream the game live on your mobile device. Just download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Royals. Alex has struck out and grounded out to first. Popped him up. Urshela, the shortstop, brings it down, and the streak continues. It is 32 consecutive scoreless innings. Cleveland leads 12-0. By T-Mobile, the Yankees just got Starlin Castro back on Friday from the disabled list. He's 4 for 4 today against Seattle. The Yankees are 3.5 back in their division. They have the top wild card spot. Tampa Bay, didn't seem like that long ago. They were right there in the wild card hunt, but they have lost 14 of their last 21 games, and we will see them tomorrow at Kauffman Stadium. Tomorrow through Wednesday as Drupal Cabrera for the struggling Mets. They are 16 games under 500, and he has a 3-run home run in the first inning.
So just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Onelki Garcia, Royals debut, has settled in. Now he gave up some runs early, gave up a couple of Skoglin's runs and then some of his own, but he's settled down. He's done a nice job. Big guy, 6'3", 220, big left-hander. It's been helping Ned get through this game. It's been as painful as it's been. 85 pitches. They're getting everything they can out of Garcia.
He made 20 appearances in 10 starts while he was at AAA, so he's been stretched out this season. Giovanni Urshela came into the game last inning as a defensive replacement for Francisco Lindor, and now he bats for the first time and takes a strike. One ball, one strike on Urshela, followed by Austin Jackson and Eric Gonzalez. Off the end of the bat, and Bonifacio out in right field makes the play, one down. Well, this inaugural Players Weekend is coming to a close, and you can commemorate the weekend at MLBshop.com with limited edition Royals jerseys and tees featuring the player pick nicknames. Wear the gear the players are wearing on the field this weekend. Available while supplies last at MLBshop.com. I got a jersey yesterday.
Let me see.
Remember
it.
we were talking about it on Friday night?
Yeah. Let me see what nickname did they give you on the jersey?
Well, you remember we talked about
oh,
it
yeah,
on
but
Friday.
I thought maybe they gave you another one. Okay.
Now you said you watched the game last night. Did I do a good job of pretending as though this was one of my nicknames? Remember I submitted a nickname?
Yeah.
Were you with us on Friday night?
I was.
Okay.
I was, but I didn't watch all of the game last night, but I watched most of it, so I might have missed that particular time. But I don't know you by that. Now it's a good looking jersey.
Okay, it is.
They made me one and I left it at home. But Rye, I'm sorry, I don't know Rye.
I did my best to play it off last night.
I like Feeve.
Yeah,
Feeve would be great.
I was asked, what's your nickname? So I gave it to him. I first considered Rhino. I explained on Friday that that's more of a Kansas City nickname, but if you go back to younger days, it was Feeve, and I thought, okay, well, there's a little bit of a story behind that.
Okay.
I don't know if the national audience would care, but I got Rye, which is used occasionally.
All right.
That's a third hit for Austin Jackson. And now see if the Royals can turn another double play. They have turned two already, so that means McDouble sandwiches are only $1 tomorrow. And participating McDonald's in the greater KC, St. Joe, and Lawrence locations. Denny and Don Free will call me Rye.
Okay.
Eric Gonzalez. And the Royals get Gonzalez at first for their third double play of the afternoon.
Right on cue.
Baseball is brought to you by Dodge. Join the Brotherhood of Muscle at the Dodge Summer Clearance event going on now. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. (12-0) Cleveland. They did all that in the first 2 innings, with 3 in the first and 9 in the second. And Carlos Carrasco, who pitched 7 scoreless innings, giving up just 6 hits, will hand the ball off to veteran lefty Craig Breslow.
Breslow, they picked him up from the Twins. Fastball 88-91, gonna sink it, cut it, curveball change. He's crafty lefty. They need another lefty out there.
Indians have 2 lefties on the disabled list right now, Andrew Miller and Boone Logan, who is a situational lefty. It'll be Butera, Merrifield, and Bonifacio in the 8th inning. The Royals' consecutive scoreless streak is at 32 innings, tying the team record from 2004.
Gotta find a way. Come on, fellas.
Dave Holtzman did some exhaustive research going back to 2004. The starting pitchers the Royals faced during that stretch, David Wells was the starter in San Diego for the final game of that series. And then the Royals were shut out in 3 games in Minnesota. Brad Radke, Johan Santana, and Kyle Loesch were the 3 Minnesota starters. And now in this streak, Herman Marquez on Thursday for the Rockies, Ryan Merritt here on Friday night, Mike Clevenger last night, and Carlos Carrasco today. Still 1-2 on Butera.
It's interesting, but it's not a good subject to be talking about. This offense is too good. But it happens. Obviously, it's happened before.
One down in the 8th inning. That is 9 strikeouts for Indians pitchers today. Calling all yogis. Coming up on Sunday, September 3rd, it is Yoga Day at the K. It's a theme ticket package which includes a pregame 1-hour yoga practice on the outfield grass, a Royals theme yoga mat, and a light breakfast at Rivals. You'll also have a ticket to watch the Royals take on the Twins, which I believe is also Star Wars Day. So you have Yoga Day in the morning, Star Wars Day in the afternoon, Royals and Twins. Each is a theme ticket, available at royals.com/theme tickets. Fouled away by Witt. No balls and 2 strikes. Witt is 1 for 3. He is the subject of our sprint trivia question. There are 4 major league players with 13 or more home runs, 20 or more stolen bases. Whit Merrifield, Lorenzo Cain, Jose Altuve, and
I cheated with Altuve. Sorry.
Yep.
We got one
We'll
more.
let you slide this time because we know you never, ever, ever cheat on these trivia questions. Ever.
This year I've been good most of the time, but I can tell you I have cheated in years past.
The 4th one is an American League player.
How about Andrus? Elvis Andrus.
Is it Elvis Andrus? See?
Shot in the dark.
Nice work.
Thank you.
That's a good guess. I mean,
he's got
you
steal.
might
He can steal.
You pin some stolen bases to him, but 20 or more home runs. He's had a heck of a year. Texas, as a team, has had a rough year. They're under 500, expecting to contend in their division. They traded away Yu Darvish. Over the inside. Wow. So Breslow comes on. He has back-to-back called third strikes against Butera and Merrifield.
You know, Francona, he loves veteran players, especially any kind of pickups late in the season. Most general managers will get together. They'll talk about that. When you acquire a player this time of year, it's a veteran with experience. Breslow has a good arm, sneaky, knows how to pitch, good arm angle. He'll drop down his angle, you know, very effective against left-handers. Francona saw him available out there and he went and got him. You're not going to acquire a young player too many times this late in the season because you want a guy with experience. Oh, maybe we could take him deep. We got one more inning.
Center fielder has priority, so Zimmer makes a play, and that's a new record for the Royals. 32 consecutive scoreless innings on a beautiful sunny day in Cleveland, Ohio.
Here, last game, we get to go home. Second inning, we got to show you what happened. It happened early. Our Honda plays the game. That's the first by Lindor. A Lindor fan caught it. The second was hit by Santana. That was his 20th. And then Yan Gomes unloaded with a slam, his 9th. 9-run second inning. Skoglin gave up 7 earned runs. Onelki Garcia gave up 5.
This is just the 52nd appearance for Kelvin Herrera, so he'll get some work. Tune up before the homestand against Tampa Bay. Edwin Encarnacion was the scheduled hitter. Terry Francona will send Roberto Perez to the plate, his backup catcher, who had an important home run in the game last night against Jason Hamill. He takes a swipe at the first pitch and fouls it away. The Indians have hit 7 home runs in this series. For Perez, his home run last night was just his 3rd. But of his 3 home runs, 1 has tied the game, and his other 2 have given his team the lead.
Herrera's going to polish up on that fastball slider change. Good to see him back out there. I mean, when he walked off at the K, we weren't sure what was going on. When he was walking off with head athletic trainer Nick Kinney, they were looking at his forearm, and forearms usually, especially if they're in the upper close to the elbow, forearms are an alarm goes off when you have a guy with pain up there because it's close to Tommy John, but it was down lower towards his hand, so it's good to see him out there.
And Perez has a single to center field to begin the 8th inning. 16 hits for the Cleveland Indians. Every Thursday is a Gordo Nation at Kauffman Stadium. For only $35, you get a seat in left field, a limited edition Charlie Hustle brand T-shirt, and an Alex Gordon big head. Our next Gordo Nation will be 2 homestands from now. The Minnesota Twins will be in town, and that'll be Thursday, September 7th. The Royals' next homestand is only 3 games. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against Tampa Bay, and then they hit the road again, and we'll go to Minnesota and then Detroit. Fouled off by Carlos Santana into a crowd of 32,229.
Nice to see the fans back this weekend here in Cleveland. Indians are playing the best they've played all year right now, and they're missing. They got a bunch of guys on the disabled list, but they have depth and they have guys that are stepping up. Pitching staff seems to be stronger. Dog days aren't affecting them. Sign of a winning baseball team.
You and I discussed this on Friday and had a chance to discuss it with Terry Francona before the game last night. But now he wants to win in April and May just as much as anybody else. But with the talent that he has and the way he uses his bullpen, Santana's down on strikes. He is more concerned with the second half of the season than he is with the first half, in that he wants his players to be fresh. He wants to minimize the effects of the dog days as much as possible. So as he has been managing the Indians, and this is his 5th year, they usually are pretty slow out of the gate, and it's easy to forecast a disappointing season for them. But no team in the American League has a better record in the second half than Terry Francona's Indians going back to 2013. The wind really held up that pop-up, and Bonifacio, his momentum takes him all the way to the infield dirt to get Brandon Guyer, and there are 2 down. And you know, Terry Francona said yesterday very confidently, he says, yeah, we got guys that have some aches and pains, but nobody's gassed. So this is when he wants his team to really hit their stride, and that's what they've done since he's become manager.
Skipper with pedigree. Encarnacion, he was quick to come over here. He wants to go to the postseason. Get late in your career, you know, you try to find a team that's going to have a chance to go into October, and Francona's been there many times as a manager. He knows.
And the two teams on the field right now knocked Encarnacion's last two teams out of the postseason. The Royals knocked the Blue Jays out 2 years ago. The Indians knocked the Blue Jays out last year. So if you can't beat them, join them.
Yep. Blue Jays now 12 games back.
By the way, I should point out, Terry Francona's teams since 2013 have the best record in the second half. The Royals have the second best record in the second half.
Okay.
Going back to 2013.
Finishing strong says a lot, and it means a lot. That's how you finish, really, not necessarily how you start. They know it. Kluber could be Cy Young this year.
Terry Francona was Manager of the Year both of those years. American League Manager of the Year.
Francona's first year as a manager, he had me signed me as a free agent, and to kind of help babysit. I was an old man at the time, older player. Brad Mills was there as bench coach now, and you could just tell he had a way with communication. He had a way with his players, that he was going to be a manager for a long time, and he has.
Bonifacio gets turned around. It is off the wall. Perez will hold it third, and Yandy Diaz, who has really good power to the opposite field, has a 2-out double.
Sunfield big time this time of the day here at Progressive. Diaz with a good swing on a fastball that's down the middle. Twisted him around, did Bonifacio, but he's able to get it in quick enough to keep anybody from scoring. Anyway, Francona, you know, there was a problem with the pitchers saying stuff to the media about the catcher. You know, Mike Lieberthal was a catcher, young catcher, and so you know you have to put it into that if you're the manager. You can't let that stuff go, especially your first year. You know, he held meetings. He held a meeting, one meeting really is all he needed. And when Terry Francona addressed the group, it was firm, and this was his first meeting as a manager. And he said, I will not tolerate any backbiting amongst the team. And you know, we finished, I can't remember exactly, maybe 30 games out of his first year. But he put an end to all that. I mean, he stepped up when he had to, and that's what you got to do when you're young. When you're first time through.
Would that have been 1997?
That was. What was our record there?
68 and 94.
Not too bad. It wasn't a 100-loss season.
He got some National League Manager of the Year votes that year.
Okay, not surprised.
4 years in Philadelphia. And then in his first year in Boston, they won the World Series. Zimmer is down on strikes, so Herrera gets around a single and a double. He strikes out 2, and we go to the ninth. 3-game series with the Rays begins tomorrow night at Kauffman Stadium. Ian Kennedy and Austin Pruitt tomorrow. Jacob Junis and Alex Cobb on Tuesday. And then Jason Vargas and the one-time Royal Jake Odorizzi on Wednesday. Thursday is a day off for the Royals, and then they're back on the road again. Zach McAllister is a Chevy call to the bullpen. He'll get the top of the 9th inning. Carlos Carrasco pitched the first 7. Craig Breslow pitched the 8th, and now McAllister in the 9th, as the Royals have established a new franchise record for consecutive scoreless innings at 33, going back to the 2nd inning on Thursday. So hoping to get a run in the 9th to keep that streak from stretching into the homestand tomorrow. And Brandon Moss is going to hit a foul ball into the crowd off to the third base side. The Royals are trying to avoid being shut out in 3 consecutive games for just the 2nd time in franchise history. During the previous scoreless streak, it was July 5th through the 7th at Minnesota when they were shut out in 3 straight games. Moss hits it into left center field, slicing over to Jackson, and the wind pushes it in that direction. 1 down in the 9th. Coming up after the game, Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty. 33 consecutive scoreless innings, a new franchise record. And we'll try and wipe the slate clean, easy for me to say, and focus on Tampa Bay.
I didn't see this scoreless streak coming, and I know it was a tough loss. That last one against Colorado, that was not an easy loss to handle. 1 pitch, a home run, the 2-run home run. We had the lead, and then that kind of just started things. And then we got here and couldn't move runners early in the first game, and it just steamrolled. To come home limping under 500 is not what Ned was expecting.
Inside to Melky. 2 balls, 1 strike. He is the only Royal with 2 hits today. Two and 2. The Indians will move to 17 games above 500. That'll be a new high watermark for them. They are working on their 15th shutout. They already lead the American League with 14, 5 of which have come against the Royals. Grounded sharply. It gets past Santana. And did he recover in time? He did. First base umpire Greg Gibson wanted to make sure that Santana, or rather McAllister, held onto the ball. McAllister is a big man. You can see that as Melky Cabrera walks by him, and Melky appears to be all right. And there are 2 down.
Yeah, it's good to see. Hit the ball hard. Santana looks like it got it on his thumb. Melky's coming out of that box. He smells the base hit. Oh yeah, that's collisions you don't like to see at first base, but they happen. Glad everybody's okay. Now look at that, right leg is exposed there by McAllister. Melky looked like he straddled it, didn't go in with a knee. If he Charlie horses him with the knee, it's going to be a contusion there, but good to see everybody's good. Don't need any contusions this time of year. Ball 1 on Mike Moustakas. He is 0 for 3.
Crowds of over 34,000 in the first two games. A little over 32,000 are here today. Moustakas to left field, right at Austin Jackson. And the Cleveland Indians sweep the three-game series with 3 shutouts. And the Royals finish this quick trip with 34 consecutive scoreless innings. Final score 12-0 Cleveland. We'll be right back.